And good morning. I'm your friend Scotty Ray. Welcome. It's Tuesday, and Odie and I were just discussing, can y'all believe this? 55 degrees outside this morning. Now, don't worry. Mississippi's got something else in store for you a little bit later. Hot 90-degree weather. It's going to slam you before the day is out. Yesterday, late afternoon, was one of those typical Mississippi, Alabama, southern days where it was just downright hot. We've got that coming. But enjoy it today. If you go for walks, this is the perfect time. Might want to wait till daylight, just be on the safe side of things. But get out and enjoy this before the temperature heats up this morning. You'll enjoy it and cool, fresh air that you can take in. I love it when it's that way. Wintertime is coming. So many of you getting up. Good morning to you. Let's see here. James, morning from Scuba, Mississippi. Louisville. Karina joins us there. Philadelphia, Miss Charlotte Gray joining in today. Lisa says, brr. Good morning, Nick. Cornbread joining us there from Kemper County as well. Miss Adele Clark jumping in too. Ooh, I see you there, Chief Nelson. Lots going on today. Missing jets. They have found it, and we've got a lot that's going to be discussed about what's going on in America today. And then at 7, we're going to switch gears to what's going on locally. Ooh, attempted robberies. And we're going to talk about this in a little bit more detail as we begin our day. In between now and the end of the month, let's be extremely aware of our surroundings and our communities. Why? We're putting this, if you were to put crime on a level 1 through 5, I think we're pretty close to a 4 at this point of what could happen. I'm seeing crime increase daily. Why? Money has run out. There's been a lot of changes, and people are without money, and they're willing to take what's yours. So watch where you go. Make sure everywhere you go at night is well lit. Now, don't take me wrong. Some criminals don't mind if it's well lit, but that's a deterrent for a lot. Don't go in dark areas there at night. Be careful between now and then. Again, we're putting this at a 4 out of 5 of criminal activity in between now and the end of the month. I'm seeing way too much go on behind the scenes. We want you to be extremely careful. We'll be right back with a good word. We even have a special guest coming in. Y'all get ready. We got a preacher man on the way this morning. He's going to hit Odie with a Bible here in a second. I think Odie needs a little adjustment there. Just a little bit, Odie said. We've got him coming in. It's going to be great. I hope you'll join us for that. Right now, let's go to Collinsville. We need that good word each and every day to start our day, to straighten it all out.
I will never forget one of the first Christmases as a dad. In fact, it was my very first one. I had some toys and things I had to put together, but I was pretty confident I could knock them out quickly. The last thing I had to do was put together a jumper for my son, and it seemed simple enough. I began to work with it, and slowly but surely it started to come together. That is, until I got stuck. I was almost to the end, but I could not find a certain part that had to go in to complete it. I looked and looked for it. Had I misplaced it? I didn't see where it was. I didn't see where it could go. So I was pretty perplexed. I would look at the manual, then I'd look back at the jumper, then I'd look back at the manual, then back at the jumper, and so on and so forth. I was about ready to give up. Finally, though, I saw the part that was needed had already been attached to the jumper, and after hours of confusion, I was able to finish it around 1 a.m. See, this was the problem with the Jewish people after Jesus came. They had the proper instruction manual, the whole Old Testament, as it pointed to Jesus for its fulfillment. All of it was written looking forward to the coming Messiah. Yet they tried to rely on their own works. They tried to rely on their own deeds to establish their own righteousness. They missed that Jesus was there all along, just like I was missing that piece right in front of me. Is this true for you? Are you working to try to earn God's favor? Are you trying to bridge that gap that sin created on your own? Or do you recognize and rely on Jesus, His finished work on the cross and His rising from the grave as your only hope for a life redeemed? Don't be like these people in Romans 10 who are missing the whole point of Jesus coming to earth. Grace and mercy, not works. Trust the Lord today. Change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, and Mowdy Cabinetry. And welcome back, Scotty Ray and Odie. I remember, and again, before I say this, I don't want anyone to misinterpret this, because growing up, I'm now go to a Baptist church, but I grew up in a Methodist church. And I see some differences in between Methodists. In the Methodist church, when it come 12 o'clock, there was somebody on the back row that done to the preacher. Fried chicken on the table is what that meant. Hurry it up, cut it short. Do they still do that?
Yeah, we throw
Y'all,
wires or fishing rod.
you have a fishing rod up and say it's time to go. Baptists are usually pretty a little bit more laid back. They'll let the preacher man go a little bit longer. But usually growing up, I remember the Methodists, they were ready to eat and let's go. You could have started earlier, I think, is what their sentiments were on that. Anyway, memory lane as we go back and remember a few things. As we look around of what's going on in America this morning, as we well know, the GM strike, well, the United Auto Workers, it's GM, Ford, and Chrysler as well. 3 plants at this point have been shut down. We go here to look at GM's midsize and full-size truck plant in Missouri. The Ford Ranger pickup size and Bronco in Wayne, Michigan is shut down. And then the Jeep Wrangler plant in Toledo, Ohio is shut down. Now, why is it that every time I say Toledo, Ohio, I think of Klinger from MASH? It's in my head. I can't shake it. But I bring this up because the UAW says if they don't reach an agreement by Friday, they're going to shut down more plants and cause more havoc. We're on the lookout for that. Can we take much more of that? Can we do without cars? Are Americans okay with driving what they've got? Or do you got to have a new car? That's what's stirring out there. As we look around, I'm seeing some temperatures here. Townsend, Mississippi. I said that wrong, didn't I? Joe tells us it's 50 there this morning. Williamsburg, Virginia, 55 this morning. Also in Zero. Joe tells us it's 55 in Zero today. Nice, cool weather. I like this. We'll watch this. Are you willing to pay? Get this now. Elon saying that Twitter, or now known as the X, is probably going to start charging folks to be a member to cut back on the robots. Meridian is not a Twitter town. Not the Meridian area. Mississippi is really not. There's some that use it, don't get me wrong. I've got an account, but it's not heavily used. It's more YouTube. Number one instead of Mississippi is still Facebook, followed by YouTube, and then it would be Twitter, and there it goes on from there. Some Snapchats and stuff of that nature. But would you pay for Twitter? I don't think I would. I don't think there's a big enough following, at least not on my end from that. That's just my 2 thoughts there. Senate Republicans are mocking Schumer. We talked about this yesterday as the dress code has been changed in the Senate so that, what's his name, could wear his hoodie to work. Fetterman, is that how you say it? Fetterman?
Yeah, but at least he'd be covered up. I don't want to see
Yeah,
that.
one of the female senators joked she would show up in a bikini. Odie is saying, please no, please don't do it. Save us. I know you're thinking, what's her face at N1 is probably what you're thinking.
AOC?
AOC. What? No, what's her name that was head of the...
Oh, you're talking about the ketchup lady.
Yeah. Anyway, y'all know who I'm talking about, or at least Odie does. There's some things that you never want to even put in your mind. Just leave it alone there. Some folks showed up in blue jeans, but overall, most are saying the Senate is, sacred ground, so to speak, that you should step up and wear your Sunday best when you go to work. It should. There's a lot of different feelings over this as lawsuits are rampant in America. We certainly hate for any time that there's a death for any reason. At the end, the taxpayer ends up making this. A student that was bullied in California wins a $27 million lawsuit. At the end of the day, the taxpayer will make that payment. $27 million. It's awful that happened to a child. But payouts of $27 million, isn't that a little excessive? Am I wrong? I could be.
It ought to come from the teachers who never stepped in after they knew it was happening and stopped.
Odie says he thinks it should come from the people that don't help and they know what was going on. Well, you remember back when the teacher that was shot, she went to administration and said there's a kid with a gun, and they've done nothing over and over and over. It boils down to doing your job, I think, is what Odie is getting at there. I don't know this guy. Do you know this? Let me put the camera over here on Odie. Do you know Russell Brand? You ever heard of him?
I know the name. I know the face.
Some comedian. Boy, he's catching it right now for accusations of sexual misconduct or lewd jokes or something to that. I don't know him, but apparently he's a pretty big star that I just have seemed to have missed. Yeah, Odie says that comedians are just not what they used to be, and I think I agree with that. Remax sued by a consumer and settled out of court for $55 million. Malone said, "Wow, that's a lot of money there." And this is the headline, and I'll read it. NBC reported this. It says, "When did the United States start dealing with hostage situations of the country?" You know, you've always heard that, well, the United States does not deal with terrorists. We don't make deals. Well, apparently we do. We have. This is scary. Now, I think every one of us are glad that we've got Americans coming home that were held captive in Iran. But we have unleashed, $6 billion back to them that was seized. $6 billion. Now, I'm not a rocket scientist, but I can put two and two together and figure out what that money is going to be used for. Can't you?
Comes right back in.
It's not going to be good in the end. Those are a few of the headlines. We've got a whole lot more. We had an attempted robbery in Meridian. Lots of things that went on yesterday. We have a police officer that is without a job this morning due to, well, things he shouldn't have been doing with a 14-year-old. Now, this is all being discussed. It isn't proven yet, but a police officer in the area has been relieved of duty. We'll tell you more about that in the quiet little county of Clark County. We've got all that coming up this morning at 8 o'clock. Won't you join us? And again, remember now, you are innocent until proven guilty. Evidence is piling up. We'll talk about all of that, though, coming up at 8 this morning. 7. It's 7, isn't it? Yeah. I hadn't had my extra cup of coffee. That's what the problem is. We'll be right back with your forecast. Central.
8 Eastern Central, yes.
Odie's getting into the Central Time. We'll try to straighten it all out. We'll be right back. Philadelphia Gun and Pawn, located at 910 Posey Avenue, has tons of lawnmowers to choose from. A big selection of zero-turn lawnmowers, power washers, and even barbecue grills. Step inside the store and see their complete line of Liberty safes along with those Browning safes. A large selection of Louis Vuitton purses along with satin shirts and bead sets. And tons to choose from for the outdoorsman in your household. And always a great deal on any type of jewelry you're looking for. And a private lobby for pawns for your confidentiality. Philadelphia Gun and Pawn. And welcome back as we start this. Let's get into this, 55 degrees, folks. Let's get into our forecast now.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
As we pull it up, here it is. Record highs and record lows. 1925, it was a high of 99 today. Now, we're not going to get that, but we're close. 90 is pretty warm. How can you go from 55 to 90 in less than 3 or 4 hours? It's coming.
Well, we had global warming.
Global warming back then. Yeah, that must have been what it was. 1981, it was a cool 42 degrees today. I bet that felt good. As we move along to check out what the forecast is today, as you'll see here in Meridian, we're looking at 88 as we go to Philadelphia, 87. And northward, it gets even cooler. 83 at Columbus Air Force Base as we go across Starkville and back over to the Mississippi Delta there at the river. We're looking at 88 as we go down, 90 at Vicksburg, down to 91 in Hattiesburg as well. But we're banking on, they're changing this now to 90 is what they're saying. As we go east into Bamaland, 87 in Tuscaloosa. We'll see that as well in Livingston, Alabama, but a cool 83 in Burmaland. As we go south to Montgomery, about 89 today. Now, as we look at this, do not forget, we've had some serious wildfires going on in Clark County, Jasper County, these areas here. Do not burn whatsoever. A trash pile can wait. We have no idea when this is going to be lifted, but don't burn. Just pile it up. It'll be okay. We don't need any wildfires out of control. As we'll see here to the south, from Jackson on down through Brookhaven, it's elevated. We are in a limited here in East Mississippi, and north we're all the way to the state line. So just don't burn. It's not worth it. Firefighters have been working tirelessly throughout the night hours to fix all of this. As we look at our 6 to 10-day outlook across the U.S., we'll see that the South, especially here, right there at the Kemper County line and south, is going to be warmer toward the Mississippi Gulf Coast. And we'll catch in a little bit of L.A. also there, and southern Florida as well in that upper temperatures. Look here, down here near the border. That's warm there in Texas. As we look at our 7-day outlook, here's what we got today. As we mentioned, 90 degrees, 0% chance of rain. As we move to Wednesday, 89, and by the weekend, still pretty good weather, 87, 88. Any car shows or any events that are going to be going on this weekend are going to be perfect for the weather. Now, as we start to close in on late Sunday afternoon, a 20% chance of showers rolls in. Back to work Monday with that 20%. And the outlook all the way to August the 3rd. Yeah, making sure we had that right there. October's not all of that. October, that's wrong there.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
October. Yeah, October.
August just left.
August is over. That's October 3rd. We're up, bro. We'll get that fixed.
Heck of a forecast.
Yeah, we're doing 2 years from now. We'll get that straightened out in a moment. 89 is what we'll see on the 26th, all the way through 91 there on the 27th. And we get all the way into October, as you'll see there, 88 degrees. It's not letting up into October. I just knew something was wrong there. It didn't look right. October is what we're looking at. All right, as we look at this, and then let's back out of this and take a look at the real one. I didn't load the right one on this as we go here to take a look this morning as to what's going on with the tropics this morning. Let's pull down and pull this up. This is what we've got today. We have a storm that is brewing here, 70% chance off the coast of Africa. And as you can see, this is kind of moving out to the west there. And this could affect, it could go up, and it could come right on into the Gulf. We'll watch this. A 30% chance of this becoming something here. Not really anything going to happen. As we see that Nigel is a Cat 1 this morning with 86-mile-an-hour winds with 979 millibars. Everything to watch carefully. And again, we're under this hurricane season until November 1. So we've got some more coming up as we watch that. All right, let's get back to that forecast and find out what else we have going on today as we see the fishing forecast. Chet tells us the time to be on the water is going to be somewhere around 3:30 this afternoon. You can show up a little early, around 3:10, be ready to set fish by 3:30 and fish until 5:30. Should be good. Wind's going to be calm, around 5 miles an hour this morning, so you can't beat that at all. Morning to so many of y'all up and stirring and at 'em. We're figuring out what month it is, what time it is. I've had a rough morning. I'm telling you, without that third cup of coffee, it ain't good for me. We have special guests coming in this morning. Y'all don't rush off. We're going to be telling you all about that at the top of the hour and going on all of the events that happened yesterday. It was a day of fender benders across the area. It happens some days like that. Some days you don't hear many, but yesterday the streets were filled with those. We got as many of those as we could cover as we were out and about throughout the day yesterday. Coming up, be here, 7 o'clock, find out what's going on in your neighborhoods at the Scotty Ray Report with Scotty Ray and Odie. We'll see you soon.
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners.